Welcome to Living Well with Mary Lou Andre, a 30-minute monthly lifestyle program to help you live better on your own terms by being inspired by thought-provoking leaders who make the world a better place to live and thrive. I'm your host, Mary Lou Andre, and today I'm excited to introduce you to Jen Leclerc. Jen is a creative arts administrator currently serving as the executive director for the School of Fashion Design in Boston. The school is the only educational institution in Massachusetts dedicated exclusively to the study of fashion design. Having just celebrated its 90th anniversary this past spring, the school has no plans to slow down anytime soon. In addition to their full-time, part-time, and continuing education students, the school offers pre-college workshops in fashion design for high school students and a wide range of creative workshops for the general public. Please join me in welcoming Jen to shed some light on the future vision of this storied Boston institution. Jen, thank you so much for coming. You know I'm a huge fan of the School of Fashion Design, and I'm just delighted to have you here and share everything that you guys do with our friends here on the program. So welcome. So first off, let's just dive into a little bit about your background. I know that you went to Emerson College, and then you got your master's at Boston University. You stayed on the East Coast. You went to the West Coast, and we're lucky to have you back on the East Coast. I think you told me at some point that this really is a dream job of yours to be leading this institution. It just celebrated its 90th anniversary. You've got a strategic plan for the next 10 years, and I'm sure that this awesome institution is going to keep going. But before we start, I just love to give people kind of a snapshot of the leaders behind these institutions in Boston. So catch us up on some of your background, starting with graduating to your current position.
Okay. Well, first of all, Mary Lou, I want to thank you for having me here today. And also, not only are you a fan of the school, but you're also a supporter of the school. And so I want to just be sure to thank you for that and tell you how much we appreciate it. We rely on our friends in the community to support our students. It's very important. So I want to thank you for doing that. So yeah, you're right. I started at Emerson. The big elephant in the room is that I do not have a background in fashion design. I always tell people my job is to keep the lights on and the doors open and keep the institution thriving and make sure everybody has what they need. So my background is really in communication. So at Emerson, it was like writing and publishing, writing literature and publishing. And then at BU, it was arts management and nonprofit management. All of the work that I've done in between East Coast and West Coast has been communications related. I've always really wanted to work. I've always worked with artists in a variety of genres. So my whole career has been built around how can I bring my skill set, which is in communications, to support the creative people so that I get to hang out with like cool creative people in my job, because I'm not a practicing artist or a fashion designer. But all the work that I do and how I lead is through communications and through what do people need to know. How can we be transparent? How can we use communications to, tell our great story, but also how to build community? So a lot of my experience is with not only external communications, but internal communications. And so there's, it's kind of sitting between those two things. So I'm always very aware of how we communicate to the students and the staff and the faculty and our board members and everybody who's involved in making SFD run while we're there. But also, our messaging to the general public so we can invite people into the school. So in terms of my background, I was with the city of, when I was on the West Coast, I was with the city of San Jose, communications to over 900,000 residents in 3 languages, 5,000 city employees. So that's kind of where I honed my leadership skills, yeah.
Okay, great. And I always say behind every organization are good leaders and people that can communicate. And I do have a lot of young people come to me for career advice, and I always say learn how to write, even if it's email, and learn how to communicate, because those really are the skills that we all need, especially in an AI-driven world. And I have had the privilege of watching you lead that institution, and you do a beautiful job. Thank you. Because of you, I now know how deep the mission is, and I did not. So before we dive into the history, which is really interesting, it started in 1934. First residency of the school was on Boylston. Then it went to Newberry. Now it's back on Boylston. So we'll get into that. But take our viewers through your student journey. How do they find out about you? How do they enroll? What's the curriculum look like? And then what are their options once they graduate?
Sure. Well, one of the great things about the School of Fashion Design, we're on St. James Ave now.
St. James, not Boylston. Okay.
But you're right. You did your homework. We've been in the Back Bay our full 90 years, so we are definitely a Boston institution. One of the great things about the School of Fashion Design and what we really believe in is that fashion design is a learned skill, and that it's our job to teach you. So we try to remove as many barriers as we can to entry into our programs. Even for our professional certificate in fashion design, you do not need a portfolio to apply with us. We start at the very beginning.
I love that.
Yeah, we have students who, it's really great to see students who have always dreamed about or thought about doing this. We have a lot of career changers and career redirectors, right? So people who are already degreed and have always thought about doing this and are sort of taking that step. So a lot of them are working and then coming and taking classes with us. We have students who have never sat at a sewing machine. We start at level 1. We have projects that are specifically designed to teach people the foundational skills of fashion design. But by level 2 and their second semester with us, they're sending garments down the runway. So that's a testament completely to our faculty and their teaching expertise. So yeah, our core program is our certificate in fashion design. It's a professional program, very hands-on, like you said in the introduction. SFD is the only school that's dedicated, our entire curriculum is dedicated to apparel design and construction. So that slow fashion craft of a well-made garment, that's our value system. You're correct, we also have a program for high school students. Our high school students are coming to us either to explore fashion or they're considering whether or not they want to do this for their post-secondary education, or they know they're coming either to us or another school and they're building up their college application or their portfolio. All of that is fine with us. We do see some of them finish and continue on with us, but if they don't and they're going someplace else, that's okay too. So we have a beginner and advanced program for high school students. I also have breaking news for you here today.
Yeah. Ooh, breaking. We love breaking news.
Yeah. Starting in fall of 2026, we're also going to be offering a fashion gap year at the School of Fashion Design.
Oh, wow.
So high school graduates will be able to take 3 courses in the fall and 3 courses in the spring out of our core certificate program and earn a junior certificate in fashion design. So again, it's an opportunity.
They can combine in other ways with other parts of their professional journey.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So a lot, like art school, fashion school, it can be a little scary for young people or parents sending their kids, wanting to be sure that there's a career path. So this is a way, it's a really low risk way. Lots of people are taking gap years. It's a really low risk way to sort of test it out, try it out. Not only try out School of Fashion Design, but again, is this a path that you want to be on? And then, like you said, opening our doors to a wider community. All of our workshops, we have professional workshops for people already in the industry, but we also have a whole ton of creative workshops in fashion adjacent skills.
That was new to me. So I
it's new to us a little bit too.
I think what I hear him say, what struck me, because I did have a tour of the school and I got to see the classes and it was really amazing. And I know that you have tours to the public, so that might be a takeaway for somebody in our audience because it's really a beautiful place to see. Yeah. But I loved how small the one-on-one attention that the students get. So I think you said there's about 60 students?
We have anywhere between 50 and 60 at any given time. At our class sizes, there's about 7 or 8 per teacher ratio.
I saw that and
it
really impressed me.
Yeah.
And the other thing that surprised me and I think is awesome is this diversity of the student base.
Yeah.
I was thinking that it was all come from high school, go there, but I saw, and you and I shared that the pandemic saw people really questioning their next chapters. So you have folks that
are wanting to live well after the pandemic, right?
Yeah,
like creative
exactly.
careers. Yeah.
So, and I know from the New York Times article you sent yesterday, that you posted yesterday, sewing is cool. And I think that there really is people are looking for creative outlets, especially given so much social media and the stress in our society. So I just was delighted when I actually physically went into the building, which I've been there about 3 or 4 times now, and saw the vibrancy, the diversity of age stuck
Yeah.
out to me the most.
Yeah.
And the small, intimate classrooms. And then when you shared more about your community ed, I was really blown away. So, so what, before we kind of close out the student journey,
Yeah.
what careers, like I know we have Talbot's, J. Jill, LL Bean in proximity, TJ Maxx, so that's probably one career track. And then I know that you have some really famous designers in your midst. So talk to us a little bit about if you were to go, if you were a career changer, we have a lot of those people listening to our show,
Yeah.
what kind of job could you hope maybe get, and what are some of the jobs that younger folks coming in right out of high school, what are they kind of striving for?
Yeah, it's really fun to have this. I get to talk about the School of Fashion Design a lot, but it's really fun to have this conversation with you today and talk about it through that lens of living well. So when I think about career options for our students and our alumni, there really is an opportunity to have a great career here locally. So a lot of the alumni that you hear about, they've built local brands here and local careers. So
I know many of them.
Yeah.
Yes.
So the companies that you talked about, that's all part of the fashion ecosystem here in Greater Boston. But then we also have a lot of students who come to us and who have graduated who want to create their own small brand. Again, they're not coming to be the next Gucci necessarily or Balenciaga. They're looking to build their own small brand. They have families here, they live here, they want to stay in Greater Boston. So we do have a host of alumni. Anthony Ferrara, famous for metal mesh. If you follow Lenny Kravitz on tour, is wearing all Anthony Ferrara right now. It's very, very cool. I'm going to forget people, but Denise Hajar, Daniela Corte have labels here. Boye Asenega has the Chicnicity line on the North Shore, and that's on Home Shopping Network. In bridal design, we have Daniel Fauché, Candice Wu, Gay Batala.
Candice Wu is amazing.
Yeah. So we have people that are in costume design. We have people in film and television behind the scenes, like Anne Russo, who does pattern making for film and television. So there's a whole host of ways that you can carve out your career right here in Massachusetts and Greater Boston.
Okay.
Yeah.
So getting into the history now, again, you started in 1934, 90th anniversary. Talk a little bit about just the highlights of the school.
Yeah, I hope there's more to come too. It's a long history, and I'm just really, really honored to be a part of it right now at this juncture. There's so many people who came before me and before us. So started as a school of applied arts in 1934. So it was not only fashion design, but it was advertising and decorative arts and things like that. So always creative. Then they added fashion in a few years later, and right around like 1945, 46, 47, somewhere in there, it became exclusively fashion design. So from then on, we've dedicated, the entire curriculum has been exclusive to fashion design. So yeah.
Okay, and you mentioned some of the famous people. What other points in history had a dramatic impact on the school? I know that I was reading on your website that World War II came along and it gave people a whole different view of the school. So can you talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, I don't know if I can comment on that specifically, but I would say that there are moments in history that change industries and kind of will change the fabric of a city. That pun is always intended. Change the fabric of a city, but I think the through line for SFD is the resiliency. So as the industries change, we've added courses in computer-aided design. We're looking at how we deliver our professional development and business classes. Textile science is changing. So we always just kind of have to keep up with how the industry changes and what the needs are of the students. And post-COVID, like I said, our student demographic changed, and so we had to respond to that. We brought classes online. So there's a variety of ways that you always have to sort of stay current and continue to respond to the needs of the industry and your students who are coming to you. Like we're here to serve them. But I would say also though that the through line is that we have stuck to our value of the artistry of a well-made garment. So over the decades, that's never changed, and fashion kind of comes and goes, but that's stayed true. So we've never wavered from that. So this whole idea of fast fashion and producing things in mass quantity. The students who come to us because they want to learn how to make things and make things really well. So we've always stuck to that. Yeah.
And how has technology impacted how you teach, how your students go into the world with their craft?
Yeah, well, I mean, pattern drafting is all done digitally now, and tech packs and fashion illustration. I mean,
That's made it faster.
Yeah, I mean, the tools are different, and the way we communicate is different. So, yeah.
Okay. And then talk a little bit about funding. You're a nonprofit, so I'm sure fundraising is a big piece of what your job is.
Yep.
So students coming in, is there scholarships available? What are the financial aid? Like, how do your students afford the school?
Yeah, thank you. That's a great question. We are a small private nonprofit studio school, so we rely 100% on tuition revenue and the generosity of our friends in the community. So all of our student scholarships are through fundraising, through individuals and corporations and our friends in the community. So we do have a modest scholarship program. Because of our licensing, we can't accept federal financial aid. So currently, that's fine for us right now, actually, to be honest. Yeah, so a lot. So yes, you're right. A lot of fundraising, and we do have scholarship programs through all individual fundraising. So our board of directors, our alumni base,
I was going to say your
supportive.
Alumni really must come
the alumni
through.
step up. Our amazing board of trustees, and then our friends in the community. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And with the alumni, they must offer internships for the students?
We do, yeah. And we've, again, post 2020, we've really put a lot of effort the last couple of years to rebuild our internship program. So we just had three different students finishing internships both locally and in New York. And we're trying to get more and more people. That is a core part of our program. So after students get through roughly about 3 semesters, once they're in their kind of final classes and they have enough skills under their belt, we do try to match them up. And that also is relationship based. It's who we know. We have a lot of great alumni out there in the field, and also contacts in the industry. So we know the students so intimately that we can partner people up. We know what they're looking for.
Communication, Jen.
Yeah, exactly.
It goes back to that communication skill that you bring to the table.
So we know the person who wants to experience, working in an atelier, and we know the person who wants to try to get an internship at TJX or whatever. Yeah.
Really cool. And again, I love how small and intimate these class cohorts are.
Yeah.
Because you just said before we started that every student that's enrolled right now on a first name basis, and Jen being an incredible networker and connector and communicator. That's huge for your students. I just wanted to definitely recognize that.
Yeah,
and then the last thing I wanted to ask you about, because I think a lot of our viewers would love to take a creative arts class from you, talk about your amazing community ed, because that really blew my mind. When I went in to meet with you, I thought I was just, going in to see how the fashion school ran on kind of a traditional trajectory. And then you opened my eyes to all this embroidery. And it was just incredible. And you do offer that to the public. So share a little bit about what your classes are and how people can sign up.
Yeah, wonderful. Thank you. Again, this idea of opening our doors to a wider community, we get to work with these teaching artists and all these fashion adjacent and sort of couture supporting skills, right? So we offer embroidery, sashiko stitching, and Japanese mending is coming up, beading and embroidery, lace making. You can weave your own infinity scarf this fall. We do millinery hats and fascinators. We do stuff all year long. So that's just one example. And I know you were interested in one of my favorite workshops that we've done was embroidery for health and wellness.
Yeah, talk about that.
Yeah, we
that
partnered.
Was really cool.
We partnered with this great teaching artist named Megan Burke. And she came in and she's done a couple of workshops. She's run this workshop with us now a couple of times. She teaches students how to embroider specific patterns and designs for tactile self-soothing, right? So if you have someone, a loved one, or yourself or a loved one who maybe suffers from anxiety or has ADHD, right? We fiddle with our clothes, or we rub our fingers. We do all these, things with our hands, especially if you're someone who has a nervous disorder. So she teaches embroidery as tactile self-soothing. That's so hard to say. And she brings in, you can bring in something of your own to embroider. She teaches you the skills, and then you can embroider something of your own. Or she has a pile of clothing, you can embroider something that you donate back to her, and she will get it to someone who could benefit from having that in their clothing. So
and
she has a wonderful story.
Yeah, you come in and I love that.
Yeah, one of the things she says that I love so much, when you're in there and you're embroidering in a community with 35 other people, she groups people into tables and everybody chit chats, but you're using your eyes and both hands. So you cannot have your phone, you can't be doing anything else, you have to be in the room. So you're very present, it's very engaging, you're chit-chat. I've met some lovely people who I took the class the first time she did it, and I got a chance to meet some lovely people who were embroidering things for their loved ones. It was great.
Yeah, and I love that you partner with other nonprofits in the area to provide these beautiful things to them. I know that, could you just talk a little bit about the program with, is it Rosie's Place that you did?
Oh yeah, Women's Lunch Place.
Yeah,
last year, we're hoping to do it again this year, right around the holidays, right around Christmas time and the holidays, and then it takes a little while to put the whole thing together, so it tends to merge into Martin Luther King Day of Service. But one of our instructors, Lisa Toronto, does a cut and sew project. So we have students and friends in the community who can come and cut patterns for hats, mittens, scarves, neck warmers, things like that. And then we have our faculty, students, and alumni who know how to use the industrial machine.
That wouldn't be me. I could cut, but
you
I'm
can
not
do
going to be sewing.
the cutting. Yeah, exactly. So we divide it up so that different people with different skill sets can participate and help out. But it was a great way for us to build community and help. Their Women's Lunch Place is right around the corner from us. So we had this big load of hats, mittens, and scarves that we were able to donate that were made by our friends in the community and our students and teachers.
Totally
so
a win-win in a circle that I just love.
Yeah.
So tell folks your classes are in the evening and on the weekends?
We do, yeah. Again, we have working professionals, so we offer classes. A few of our classes are online, but again, it's a very hands-on program. So we find people like to be in the studio, actually. So we have classes in days and evening, and then our high school program in the fall and spring runs on Saturdays. Yeah, and through the summer, we're year-round. So we have a fall semester, a spring semester, and a summer semester.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So you're looking for a new home away from home, where you can really have your senses ignited. And one of the things I love about your institution as well is that you don't even have to know how to use a sewing machine.
Yeah.
I think that's great. And sewing really is cool. All my young girlfriends are like sewing and crocheting, and it's so neat. And again, I love that it gets you off your phone and it gets you in community and doing something, especially with a lot of your programs that can better serve others in our community.
If I could plug, we have an open house coming up. So if people want to come and visit, you can come and do a tour anytime. You can schedule a tour on our website. But on October 4th, we're having an open house. It's Saturday, October 4th, from 10 a.m. to noon. You can come and we have live demos. You'll get to see Daniel doing French draping and pattern making and sketching demos with Jay Calderon. We have amazing faculty, so you can come and meet them and see what we do. Yeah.
So October 4th, bring your sons and daughters that might be interested in a certificate program through the school. Bring yourself if you're interested in all these amazing programs that you have.
Bring your auntie, bring whoever.
Yeah, bring whoever. Go into Boston for the day, stay and have lunch. And how can our folks find you, and how can they learn more about the school?
Sure, we're at schooloffashiondesign.org is our website. Admissions at sfdboston.org or fashion at sfdboston.org. And pop in to visit anytime.
And so those of you that love fashion, also on your website, and I actually went this year, I went to your student fashion show. It was like the highlight of my spring. It was so cool. It's been a bucket list item, and I finally was able to go, and you can watch the whole fashion show on your website.
It is on our website.
It was amazing. And
it's also on our social, so if we're on Facebook, obviously, and Instagram at SFDBOS, SFDBOS.
Yeah, I was blown away at the just the talent.
They're so talented.
They're so talented. So we always wrap up our show asking our guests, what does living well mean to you, Jen?
Okay, yeah, thank you. I saw you prepped me for that. So it was really fun. It was really fun to think about that. The first thing that always comes to mind for me is the word experiences. So for me personally, experiences, and that can be big or small. That doesn't need to be anything grandiose. So for me, having a really long, slow dinner with my family and my parents who've recently moved here, I love that. And then also bigger experiences like travel. Traveling for me, I love to just kind of see how other people live and figure out what can we bring back like how are they doing it that I can sort of bring back and adapt in my lifestyle here. And a lot of times it's usually around community and slow living, which is again kind of what we do at the school as well. So yeah, experiences, I think.
Awesome. Thank you so much,
Yeah,
Jen,
thanks for having me
sharing.
again.
Yeah,
Appreciate
you're
it.
welcome. And everyone get to that website. There's so much goodness going on at the School of Fashion Design in Boston. And if you're a student looking for a new career path, if you're a lifelong learner like myself, and we actually have a group of clients that is super interested in doing something with your school real soon.
That'd be
so thank
great.
you so much for your communication skills. Thank you so much for your leadership, and thank you for sharing the story here today on Living Well.
Thanks for the
you.
opportunity. Thanks for having me.